now.
Hi, I'm Krista Clapp. I'm the Research Director for Climate Finance at CICERO, and I'm leading the ClimINVEST project. What's ClimINVEST? It's a research project to improve our understanding of physical climate risk. We bring together climate scientists and investors to improve transparency on physical climate risk and help guide the investors' risk management process. We're trying to answer the following questions. How can investors better secure the value of their portfolios against physical climate risk? Which physical climate risks require immediate attention? And what information and data can investors use? The research consortium behind ClimINVEST includes partners in Norway, the Netherlands, and France, including CICERO, Wageningen Environmental Research, and Climate Adaptation Services in the Netherlands, I4CE, Météo France, and Carbon4 in France. And we are funded as a JPI climate project through the European Research Area for Climate Services. As part of our work to provide guidance to investors, we've put together this series of webinars to dive into climate hazards and underlined why they are relevant for financial actors. Today's presentation is on an agricultural case study presented by Violaine Lepouset from Carbon4.
Thank you, Krista. So I'm Violaine Lepouset. I'm manager at Carbon4. I'm specialized on climate risk assessment and adaptation to climate change. We would like to present today a case study on agriculture investment portfolio in order to show what you can do with climate data to provide useful information for financial actors on this particular case study. So crop producers already experience losses in their production due to bad weather conditions and what we call climate hazards, such as floods, droughts, and heat stress, for instance. The IPCC states and warns that these hazards will increase around the world, especially heat stress. It is 100% certain that heat stress will increase in intensity, frequency around the world. And when looking at agriculture and plants, the IPCC identified that temperature exceeding 30 degrees is a critical threshold for crop production. So what we have done here is a climate hazard assessment on an agricultural portfolio. We focus on heat stress, and we will study the exposure to this particular indicator, that is the temperature exceeding 30 degrees. Indeed, when assessing this investment portfolio, we had very few information. We had only the location and the area of each investment. So that is why we decided to do a first exposure assessment. So this portfolio is located in Eastern Europe, and we have done the assessment for 2050 future period. So you can see here the main results on these two maps. You see the number of days exceeding 30 degrees on the maps. So from less than 10 days a year to more than 80 days a year on Europe. You can see the black dots are the location of each investment, so in Eastern Europe, as you can see. The map on the left side is the current situation, focused on 1990. So you can see that most of the investment are not particularly exposed to heat stress, because most of them are exposed to less than 10 days a year. Whereas in the future, many dots appears to be exposed to more than 10 days, even 30 days of hot days in 2050. You can aggregate this information at the portfolio level based on the financial value of the assets. So here you can see the proportion of the portfolio exposed to more than 10 days of hot days, hot temperature in 1990 and 2050. And you can see that the proportion of the portfolio more than double in the future. So this is quite very useful information to identify the level of risk on your portfolio for heat stress. to identify the most at-risk investment where you can further investigate the potential risk, physical and financial risks on your investments, and start engaging dialogue with the crop producer maybe. When we say further investigate, it is very important to, of course, keep in mind that this is a first step in your risk assessment. We only focus on heat stress, which is one hazard among many others. So you could also assess the exposure to floods, droughts, and other hazards. But you can also integrate some information on the vulnerability that could be specific to the varieties that were used in these fields. You can also add some information on the adaptive capacity that can be also already integrated in these fields. So this is really a very useful first step exposure assessment to begin with physical risks on investment portfolio. Thank you for your attention.